So as we take a look at what little theater there was going on during the Middle Ages, what we are going to find is that there is only one playwright of note to discuss, and that would be the German playwright Rosvita. And what we see is that the main reason I want you to be familiar with this person is because, as far as we are aware, Rosvita is the earliest known female dramatist. So she was a nun in a convent in Germany who wrote plays patterned on those of the Roman dramatist Terence. She wrote 6 plays in that style, only she used Christian stories as her baseline, naturally. We have no evidence that her plays were ever intended for performance or even received performance in her own time. This is an example of what I was talking about in the introductory video, that what few plays are kind of being written right now, a lot of them are being written more for academic study than they are for drama purposes, to be performed. I have never heard of any of Rosvita's plays being performed. I am not even sure of the titles. But what I do want you to be aware of is that, as far as we are aware, this is the earliest known female playwright. During this time period, there were still plays being performed. However, their purpose and subject matter had changed dramatically from those of the Romans. As you'll recall, when we discussed the Romans, what they preferred was a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and a lot of farcical comedy. When the Middle Ages came around and the powers that be were trying to basically put civilization back together under the banner of the Catholic Church, drama began to revert back to its original purpose. Now, you'll remember that when theater began, when plays were first being written, it was part of a religious ceremony to worship the god of Dionysus. So we find that in the Middle Ages, the plays are reverting back to that original purpose, only this time the religion has shifted from the Greek belief system to that of Christianity. One of the first forms of religious theater to pop up was what we call liturgical drama. Liturgical dramas were basically plays that were performed inside of monasteries or small churches or cathedrals, and they focused on stories from the Bible or detailing the lives of saints. It's important to note that even though these were religious plays, they weren't offered as a regular part of services. They were considered more of a special attraction. By all accounts, the plays themselves were very long and just kind of dragged on for hours. You have to remember that these plays were not written for entertainment value. Even the Greeks, with their plays being part of their religious service, they were still trying to entertain the masses. Liturgical drama was not interested in that. They were written to deliver a message, and they didn't care how long you had to sit in order for them to deliver it. The performances, such as they were often accompanied by a lot of singing and a lot of music. Most of the dialogue, ironically, would not have been understood by most of the audience, as it was all written in Latin. As we discussed in the previous video, while there were more universities at this time than ever before, their classes were reserved for the elite. The common person was not going to attend a university and get an advanced education in speaking Latin. Your only means of doing so was to be one of those elite students or to be someone studying for a career in the church. Other than that, most of your audience would have absolutely no knowledge or understanding of Latin. So a great deal of the message that they were spending hours and hours and hours with these plays trying to impart was being missed by 90% of the audience, who had no clue what was being said. So by the 13th century, what we see is that dramas are going to start to be presented in the language spoken by ordinary people. The folks trying to impart these messages finally said to themselves, we're going to get more people on board and get our message across in a much clearer way if we stop using language in a heightened sense and begin bringing it down to appeal to a broader audience. So this is how the very first plays written in the common vernacular came about. And you'll recall, vernacular from our vocabulary is the language spoken by specific people in a specific region. Out of liturgical drama, three major forms of theater would emerge: cycle plays, miracle plays, and morality plays. And we're going to talk about each of those in our future videos.